Today we're busting one myth for every normal enemy in Tears of the Kingdom, and diving deep into their behavior to uncover the truth about how they work. Hitting a Boblikin will stop them from running towards their boss. When a boss Boblikin notices you, the first thing they'll do is blow their horn and summon the other Boblikins. But if I attack one of them, will they try to hit me back or keep running? Busted. As it turns out, Boblikins will care more about obeying their boss than taking care of themselves. It's almost like humans act this way too. You can use Rewind when a boss throws a Boblikin. Usually, boss Boblikins would rather throw rocks at you, but if that's not working, they'll resort to this. Busted. Even if someone is used as a projectile, it looks like Recall only works on inanimate objects. It's probably easier to keep an enemy in place than it is to rewind their path. A Shock Lizalfos can shock you while it's swimming. When you find one of these in the water, the only attack it can perform is this one, where it spits at you. Even if you get really close, it will still continue using this, but wait. This is confirmed. The Shock Lizalfos can't use its electricity to attack you in the water, but if you get too close, you'll get shocked even without touching it directly. A Moblin can attack you if you're standing on a different surface. Busted. Even though I'm clearly within its attack range, it still wants to throw a rock at me from point blank. If you walk up to the Moblin, then walk back down, it will still follow through with its attack. You can stop a Like's projectiles with a Korok Leaf. It would make the most sense for this to work on the ice attacks since they look more like a gas than a solid. Confirmed. This is a really cool detail, and gives you some counterplay if you're struggling to defend yourself against a like. I also tried it on the fire version, and it worked there too. You can use Flurry Rush on a Choo-Choo. When you dodge right before getting hit, you can perform a Flurry Rush where time slows down and you can deal a ton of damage. So Choo-Choos should be no exception. Busted. At first, I figured that a Flurry Rush might only work if an enemy swings a weapon, but when something like a Lynel charges at you, it still works. It could be due to Choo-Choos attacking slower than most enemies, or maybe them moving toward you isn't classified as an attack in the game. Keese will follow you if you leave their cave. Confirmed. They will try to continue chasing you for a while until they eventually stop and turn back. But they are capable of going outside. This is either based on a time limit for how long they've been chasing you, how long they've been exposed to sunlight, or the distance they've traveled from the cave entrance. Mounting a Lynel and hitting it can break your weapon. To test this, I have a badly damaged tree branch which should last no more than 2 hits before breaking. Busted. No matter how many times you hit the Lynel, it doesn't count against durability if you're mounted on it. If you want to take down one of these behemoths without breaking your weapons, now you know how. A Korok Leaf can disassemble a Stalk Goblin. It would be repetitive if we did separate myths for the Stalazalfos and Stall Moblin, so this one counts for all the skeleton-based enemies. Confirmed. The most interesting part about this is that the wind doesn't deal any damage, but it's still enough to knock their heads off. It looks like disassembling them is based on knockback instead of damage. Evermeans have the same amount of health as regular trees. When it comes to breaking objects such as boxes or rocks, they don't display a health bar, and it usually takes a fixed amount of hits to break them depending on the weapon. So let's see how many hits it takes to beat an Evermean and compare that to chopping down a tree. Confirmed. It took 7 hits of my 8-fold blade to take each of them down. This could possibly mean that Evermeans take a fixed amount of damage based on your weapon's material instead of its power. A soldier construct will hit you back if you stop it from picking up a weapon. When a construct senses danger, its first instinct is to arm itself with a weapon. Let's see if I can turn its attention to me instead of the weapons. Confirmed. This is in stark contrast to the test we performed on the Boblikin, where it continued to move towards its objective despite taking damage. The construct doesn't have a boss to take orders from, so it won't hesitate to swing back even without a weapon. A captain construct can fuse with an item that you're holding with Ultra Hand. When I approach this captain, it will try to fuse with this flame emitter, but not if I have something to say about it. Busted. If you use Ultra Hand on its preferred item, it will get very pissed, and it has a specific animation for when this happens. This is one of the funniest interactions I've seen in a Zelda game, especially for such a niche situation. If you pick up a pebblet, then place it on the ground, it can stand up again. When you parry an attack from a pebblet, you'll get a prompt to pick it up. Let's see what happens after that. Busted. The first time I saw one of these explode, I didn't understand why, but I later realized that the name pebblet implies that some sort of fuse is lit when you try to pick one up. Even if you peacefully put it back down, it's still predetermined to explode. Shining a light at horoblins will repel them. Something I noticed about horoblins is that unlike Keese, they absolutely refuse to leave their cave, which leads me to believe that they're even more sensitive to light than Keese are. So maybe being exposed to light will either hurt them or make them run away. Busted. It seems that natural sunlight is the only issue for them. I wanted to see if mirrors could bring in natural light, but it was snowing where I originally tested this. Tulin's wind ability can blow Aerokudas out of the sky. I got bored of using the Korok leaf, so let's see if Tulin's wind gust applies to other things besides Link. Confirmed. Although this makes sense, the Aerokuda's wing description implies that they're resistant to wind, but they don't look very wind resistant to me. You can parry when a little Frox jumps at you. Historically, parries made the most sense when used against weapons and even projectiles, but can we use parry on the enemies themselves? Confirmed. The little Frox will flip over when this happens. I was only slightly disappointed when I tried to stomp on it like a Koopa, but nothing happened. You can hit a Yiga foot soldier when it's in the process of teleporting. Confirmed. Sometimes teleporting enemies will have invincibility before they disappear, but it looks like you can kill them before they even get the chance to attack. The blade from a Yiga Blade Master can get them struck by lightning. While I was testing the last myth, I didn't even know what I wanted to do for the Blade Master, until suddenly this happened. Confirmed. Lightning strikes seemed like a mechanic that only Link has to worry about, but even enemies aren't safe if they use metal. You can use Ultra Hand on the rock or treasure chest attached to an Octorok. This game has strict rules when it comes to using runes on enemies, but these are made of the same material as the stuff we can move, so let's give it a shot. Busted. In case you didn't know, you can give your weapon to an Octorok and they'll spit out an enhanced version of it. So when you're looking for an Octorok, you can use Ultra Hand to look for a rock or chest that you can't move. Wizrobes are immune to the element they attack with. We already know that hitting them with an element they're weak to will kill them instantly, but I want to see if this works the other way around. Busted. The fire fruit dealt some damage, despite the Wizrobe already using a lot of heat. It's possible that Wizrobes slightly resist their own element, but it looked like the fire Wizrobe was taking damage here. Gibdos are vulnerable to ice. Everything we've seen from the game suggests that fire and shock are the only attacks that work on Gibdos, but the game never tells us whether or not ice will work. Confirmed. Ice attacks will work on Gibdos, but it's worth noting that they don't necessarily kill in one shot. So whether we want to confirm or bust this myth depends on how we phrase it, but I'd say they work well enough to call this confirmed. Finally, you can escape more quickly from Gloom Hands by mashing buttons. Button mashing was my natural reaction when I got grabbed by this terrifying enemy, so I wanted to see if this actually helps or if I was just panicking. Confirmed. I only took about a third of the damage when I pressed as many buttons as I could to escape. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you want more myth busting content, and I'll see you guys next time.